Hello, welcome to Miles of Music. I'm here with guitar master and great guitarist all around, Tom Giacabetti. Tom, thank you.
Nice to see you again, Bob.
Nice to see you. So Tom, the songs I was listening to had all these textures behind them, bass lines, just about everything thrown in there. Tell me a little bit about the background of some of the songs you've played.
Well, I played, I guess, 3 or 4 standard tunes, some Jerome Kern, perhaps. I played a Duke Ellington tune and Polka Dots and Moonbeams, you know, stuff that all guitar players love to play and have been recorded over the years. And I just wanted to try to give my own slant on performing them. And basically, it's just concepts that I've worked on over the years in terms of using guitaristic approaches to playing. I've really been thinking more and more about whenever you play like a 32-bar tune, trying to do something different each section of the tune rather than repeating the same thing over and over again. So I've been working a lot on just, you know, using various guitar approaches to that.
Okay, now, when you say different variations and so forth, so take me through this, if you will. You do the melody, I guess, with the chords, right? Say Polka Dots and Moonbeams, okay? So you do the Tom Giacabetti version of that for 32 bars. And when we say bars, we mean measures.
Right.
Standard tune is 32 bars in length, typically, right?
Right.
And then what happens the second time after you stated the song that we hear? That
Oh,
we're
well,
used
maybe
to?
I could demonstrate it.
Sure.
I mean, the melody of the tune is just diatonic, pretty much. Yeah, and that's a beautiful melody,
Yeah.
right? So guitaristically, why not try to include some open strings?
That's beautiful. It
And
sounds like a
also
piano.
some- yeah,
almost.
or like a harp type
Yeah, right,
effect,
right,
And then another approach might be, because the melody moves in one direction, why not have something countering it, like
Okay, so
you know,
that's
like a
going
descending
down.
line, right? Or
So the melody is going up
Right,
and the
melody's going
bass is going down, which they call counterpoint, right?
yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay, I think I learned that from you at one time.
I think I invented counterpoint. Another approach too that a lot of composers and arrangers use is something called backcycling,
Okay.
and that could be like picking a target chord. So the original chords in that tune, I think, is the 1-6-2-5 progression in the key of F would be F, D minor, G,
Okay.
C7. So if I just played that melody with those particular chords, D minor, G minor,
Okay.
C7. Right? So now if I work backwards, say from a target chord, I can come up with
The
any
target
kind
chord is the chord you're
yeah,
going
just pick
to.
a chord. Yeah,
Okay,
pick
okay.
any chord in any tune, and then work back. Pick a cycle. Like I like to start with fourths, because
Okay.
in jazz music, I mean that's what our ear is used to hearing, the fourth progression.
Okay.
So I think what I came up with was something like this. So my target chord was to get to the G minor
Okay.
chord. So if I work back from the G minor chord in fourths, at some point I'll come up with a B.
Okay.
E, A, D.
It's beautiful. Sure.
So it just gives you a lot of variations on how you could approach a tune,
Okay.
you know, without actually playing the same harmonies all the time.
Right, right. It's demanding. It's a lot more intellectual as well, right?
Well, I don't know about that.
Okay. Okay.
It does require a lot of experimentation because what happens, it provides like endless opportunities or ways of playing through a song that not everything's going to work. So it really does require a lot of like trial and error to see what
Right.
you'd like to sound. What I always suggest to my students is, you know, start with a bass line. So for example, that B, E, A, to get to that G minor chord, and then just
Okay.
let your, so against that melody, And then just fill in. Let
Sure.
your ear decide what sounds good.
Okay.
Because there's lots of possibilities
Mhm.
for that. So I never go so much through a theoretical approach, like you have to do this chord, or you have to
Right,
do
right,
that. In
sure.
other words, try to put some of your own personality.
Okay, and if you do that enough, it should come out, right?
Yeah,
I would imagine.
and I think like over the years, I've been doing it a long time, and you know, you start to know like what works and what doesn't.
Mhm. I've noticed some of the compositions you did as well were from Pat Metheny,
Yeah.
jazz guitar great. You have this book, which is ongoing. Is it published?
It's a work in progress.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to get it published, to see about licensing. What I did was, I think, first of all, Pat Metheny is obviously one of the greatest guitar players
Mhm.
of our time, but he's also a prolific composer.
Yeah.
I mean, his music has and will stand the test of the time.
Mhm.
You know, there's been lots of other artists that have recorded his music.
Mhm.
So I just wanted to give my own slant on some of his compositions. So I took 10 of his songs and just arranged them the way that I would play them
Okay.
on the
Okay.
guitar.
With the same theory we just
Yeah,
spoke about.
right,
more
sure.
or
A
less.
lot of different voicings,
Okay.
some back cycling, some counterpoint,
Okay.
using that open string kind of
Right. Right.
concept.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
It's a
Yeah.
C major scale, but using open string.
Yeah,
So,
you would never know that. Yeah. That's cool. That's very, very cool. So to finish this, you have to get licensing for the songs.
Sure.
Which means, basically, what do you have to do?
Well, I think the first step will probably be just to present it to some publishers and see if there would be any interest there. To be honest with you, I'm not really sure because
Okay.
I've never had any of my books published other than just doing it myself.
Right,
So,
right, right.
You know, I'll probably send it out to the usual array of guitar publishers and
Okay.
see if there's any
Like
interest.
Mel Bay and people
Yeah,
like that, the
yeah.
popular ones. Now, you have another book here, and this is Advanced Chord Melody Concepts for Guitar. And tell me about this, Tom.
Okay, well, again, this presents, you know, some of the ideas that we just talked about, backcycling, counterpoint, using open strings, putting the melody on different strings, which is, I think, a much neglected area of guitar playing. You know, normally when you hear somebody playing a chord melody, the melody is always like in the higher
Right, on
first or
top.
second string.
Right.
And some of the songs that I played today are in the book and demonstrate the various techniques of how you might take yourself to another level.
Okay, this is really more for the intermediate to advanced player?
Definitely, right. I mean, you need to know something about theory. It's definitely not a beginner's
Okay.
book. Aimed more at the college level.
Right. you've been quite a big name in the Philadelphia, Pennsylvania area for many, many years. In fact, Jimmy Bruno states that you're his guitar hero as one of the guitar players in Philadelphia as well.
In fact, I can't think of one teacher that I didn't learn an immense amount of guitar knowledge from, even when I was a beginner. And you know, I had the privilege of studying with all the guitar greats in Philly: Dennis Sandoli, Joe Scro, Joe Federico, I think was a recent guest
Right, correct.
on your show.
Okay.
Hesitant to mention the other players, I'm sure I'll forget them. But so basically, it was just, you know, studying with great teachers and trying to learn as much about music, theory. Reading is a very important thing for guitar players. I know that that's one area that most guitar players are kind of lacking.
Well, it's difficult on the guitar, isn't
It is, because there's so many ways of playing. You know, I mean, on a piano, if you play middle C, you know, you just sit there. But on guitar, you know, you have all these
Too many choices, really.
choices,
basically.
right? So
right.
to be able to read on the guitar, it really takes a lot of effort. But it's an important thing. I mean, I always, from early days, wanted to be just an all-around guitarist. You know, someone that could do studio work, that could play all styles of music, and you know, I pretty much made my living doing theater work, you know, in Atlantic City and the Philly area, and that involves following a conductor, and also be able to read and play in a lot of different styles, and also have an array of instruments and
Right, different sounds.
effects.
Yeah.
Right.
You have to stand on your head sometimes,
Yeah.
so to speak.
So I mean, I've never ever really thought of myself as just a jazz guitarist, but
Right,
more of
right.
just an all-around
Right.
guitarist, and that's kind of the approach that I take in my teaching as well. I like to have my students. I mean, I never dictate to my students what they should play, but just to develop an all-around concept.
Now, you've always been a full-time guitarist. You've never had to
I've been
drive
very
a truck?
fortunate,
or-
yes.
Right, right.
Yeah, and you know, there's some great players, not only guitar, but other instruments as well, that have had to take other jobs,
Yeah.
you know, to support themselves. And I've been very, very fortunate
Yeah, you have.
in
Yeah.
that respect.
Yeah.
But you know, guitar is such a popular instrument that, you know, there's always like music stores that need guitar students. A lot of my students and a lot of my friends are, you know, teaching at these stores, teaching 50, 60 students a week. You
Yeah.
know, so, and that, I think that's a trend that it will continue because of the
Yeah,
popularity of the
it's
instrument.
immense. It's
Yeah.
immense. I also happen to know, I remember from the past, you're a very great transcriber. You can sit down and hear something without the aid of the guitar and write it out, correct?
Well, I don't know about that.
Well-
I mean, I usually use the guitar
You
when I
do?
do that.
Okay, okay.
But you know, it's something that I've always enjoyed doing, and I think it's a great learning tool. I think I probably learned more about what to play, especially jazz-wise. You know, listening to the great artists and trying to record, write down and transcribe what they've done.
Now, where can people get you? What contact information? What's
Well,
your email, if you don't mind?
I'm teaching at University of the Arts. I'm coordinator of the jazz program.
Okay.
There, they can reach me there at tgiacabetti@uarts.edu.
We'll have that in the credits as well. Okay.
And also Temple University and at Rowan
Okay.
University.
Okay, Tom, it's been my honor, sir.
Thank you, Bob.
Wonderful. Just play a little bit as we go off, if you will.